Okay, picture this. Lao Tzu wakes up in 2026. Not in quiet, ancient China, but right here, with us, inside what we could call the Matrix. It's a pretty wild thought experiment, right? Well, today, we're going to explore how he wouldn't just survive our world, he'd actually thrive in it.
So let's just set the scene for a second. On one side, you have the world he actually knew, natural rhythms, slow pace, quiet contemplation. And on the other side, our modern matrix. It's this relentless storm of data, deadlines, and digital demands. Talk about the ultimate culture shock.
You know, the first thing he'd face is that constant buzz, that endless river of notifications, and every single one is screaming for his immediate attention.
And then there are the invisible forces, right? The AI algorithms, subtly shaping his reality, curating what he sees, what he feels, and even what he thinks he wants.
And of course, the hypnotic pull of infinite scrolling. It's this vortex of productivity culture, comparison culture, and this crazy pressure to optimize every single second of your day. It is a total sensory overload.
So this brings us to the big question. Faced with all this modern chaos, would he panic? Would he just delete everything and run for the hills? Or would he just kind of smile and flow right through it all completely unfazed?
Let's dive in. First, we're going to define what we mean by the matrix. Then, we'll get into the Taoist countercode. The idea of unplugging your identity, a practical blueprint for you. And finally, the ultimate insight that really ties this all together.
So, Section 1. Welcome to the Matrix. And the core idea here is really profound and maybe a little surprising. The problem isn't the technology itself. It's our resistance to it. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Think about that. Nature's pace is steady. It's unforced. Now look at our world. Everything is hurry, urgency, and constant pressure.
And this brings us to a really crucial equation for our modern anxiety. Stress equals reality multiplied by resistance. See, the matrix isn't your phone. It's that internal pressure to always be more. Lao Tzu wouldn't fight the system. He would just stop fighting reality. And when you reduce that resistance, the stress just dissolves.
So how in the world do we reduce that resistance? Well, that brings us right to Section 2, the Taoist countercode. It's all about learning to flow with life instead of constantly trying to force it. And the core principle here is something called Wu Wei. Now, this is so often mistaken for laziness or just being passive, but it's the total opposite. It's the art of effortless, aligned action. It's not about doing nothing. It's about a kind of neurological intelligence. The contrast here is absolutely key. The Matrix, our world, it runs on force, forcing success, forcing attention, forcing an identity. And neuroscience shows us that this constant forcing activates our fight or flight mode. But the path of Wu Wei is all about aligned action. It's about regulating your nervous system first, which then leads to this incredible calm clarity. Lao Tzu's favorite metaphor for this was water. You know, our modern culture screams at us to be fire, to be loud, visible, explosive. But the Tao says, no, be water. Flow around obstacles. Adapt without losing who you are. Be soft on the outside, but incredibly strong on the inside. Because water minds don't break, they bend. And this idea leads us right into Section 3, unplugging your identity. Because a massive source of our modern stress comes from being way too attached to the digital version of ourselves that we perform online. Lao Tzu wrote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." True freedom, real freedom, isn't found in perfecting some fixed identity. It's found in the courage to just let it go. So let's make this really personal for a moment. You are not your productivity score. You are not your income, or your social status, or your follower count. And you are definitely not that carefully curated digital image you've created. See, the Matrix feeds on this attachment. The Tao helps us dissolve it. You know, it's kind of funny to think about, isn't it? If Lao Tzu actually had social media, he wouldn't be on there posting daily affirmations. He'd probably post, "Be like water," once every 6 months, and then just log out. The contrast itself is the lesson.
All right, so let's make this real. Section 4 is the modern Tao blueprint. We're going to move from philosophy to actual practice, a toolkit you can use for daily calm.
Okay, here's a simple 5-step blueprint. First, a daily stillness ritual. Just 10 minutes, no phone. Second, non-reactivity training. Just pause for 5 seconds before you respond to a trigger. Third, strategic understimulation. Literally schedule emptiness and silence into your day. Fourth, subtraction over addition. Remove what's unnecessary instead of always trying to add more. And fifth, service over ego. Shift your focus from how do I look to how can I help.
And all of this comes together in our final section, Section 5, the ultimate insight. This is about achieving true mastery, not by escaping the matrix, but by changing how we live within it.
What's really amazing is that these ancient ideas are now being validated by modern science. We see these same principles in things like acceptance and commitment therapy, in mindfulness, in nervous system regulation. This isn't just some old philosophy. It's ancient wisdom being confirmed by modern neuroscience.
So, here it is, the final, crucial reframing. The matrix isn't the world around us. It's the state of unconscious living within it. Lao Tzu wouldn't try to escape the system. He would simply remain unattached and totally conscious right in the middle of it.
And that leads us to maybe the most powerful idea in this whole explainer. In a world of nonstop chaos, calm isn't weakness, it's mastery. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. In a world that is constantly pushing you to be loud and reactive and explosive, can you be water in a world of fire? Because learning how to do that, that's how you truly exit the matrix without ever having to leave.